Hey everyone, I want to take a look at a program, and what this program is going to do is it's going to take some data that I'm going to bring in. So the data point is going to be an x and y coordinate, and so the x coordinate will be some percentage, and the y coordinate will be what I labeled as attitude. All right, and when I have that x and y coordinate, the question is, based on that data, that x and y value, which region is that particle in, or is that data point in? And what we want to do is we want to have Matlab help us with this. All right, so we're going to do this in Matlab, and we're going to do it two different ways. We're going to do it as a function, and we're going to do it as a program. And what I want to start with is running it as a program, and then I'll talk about how we would change that to make it a function. All right, and we're going to use some input and output statements, and we're going to use logic statements. We've seen this in the past in Excel, this kind of a chart, and so we have to do some if-then statements, right? So that's how we're going to function with this. All right, so where do we start? Well, we start off with our input. So we're going to bring in, so I'm going to have to input, I'll start with the x-axis, percent. Okay, so I'm going to input the percent. All right, so that's my first thing. Now, if I'm doing this as a function, that comes in. I bring the percent as one of my inputs. In fact, as a function in Matlab, there'll be two inputs. There'll be the percent and there'll be the attitude. So I've got to bring in the attitude. All right, so input, attitude. Okay, so there's my input information, right? So if I run this as a function, these are the two variables that I'll bring into the function. And we'll look at that when we sit down and actually do Matlab. All right, then what do? Well, now I have to make some decisions. All right, so there's a lot of decisions to be made. Now we want to start with a function like this, or with a graph like this. We want to start with the easiest decision. And that is whether the attitude is above 7 or below. Because if the attitude's above 7, I know it's in the purple region. All right, so that's a decision process, right? And so I'm going to say, is attitude greater than 7? Is the attitude greater than 7? And if it is, if the answer is yes, then I'm purple. And in that scenario, I'm done right there. All done. All right, so is the attitude greater than 7, then I'm purple. It doesn't even matter what the percent is in that scenario. All that matters is the attitude. All right, so this is my yes track. But what if the answer is no? All right, so what am I going to do if the answer is no? Well, if the answer is no, then I've got this red or this green area. Now the idea here is if I'm above the blue line, I'm green, and if I'm below the blue line, I'm red. And so now I need to ask, am I above or below the blue line? Well, okay, well wait a minute. We haven't decided what the blue line is. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's calculate attitude for the blue line. Given percent. Okay, it's kind of a big box. I hope the programmers out there aren't really looking at me like, why would you make your box that big? There it is. Okay, so I'm going to take the percentage and I'm going to calculate attitude on the blue line. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to calculate attitude on the blue line given the percentage. Then I make another decision. And that decision is, or the question then is attitude greater than the blue line? Sorry, I'm crowding that. And maybe I should have actually brought in another box that said, here's the attitude at that point, but you'll get the idea, and we'll do this. All right, if the attitude is greater than the blue line, then it's green. So that's yes. Yes, the attitude is greater than the blue line, so it must be green. If the attitude is less than the blue line, then it's red. So that's no, if the answer is no. And I'm going to have to also decide, hey, what if it's on the blue line? So let's say if it's on the blue line, it's green. So this would be greater than or equal to blue line, then it's green. Same thing with the 7. Maybe I should say, is the attitude greater than or equal to 7? And I can do something where if it's on the line, then I'm neither purple nor green nor red. So I can make those kinds of statements as well. If it's none of the above, if none of these are yes, then it's, or if they're on the line exactly, then I make it a none of the above. And I have to write that in. Okay? All right, so we've got all of these if-then statements again. Okay, we've done this in Excel, and now we're going to do them in Matlab, and we're going to run these in the program, and we're going to see what pops out, okay, as we look at this kind of a chart. All right, so let's go to Matlab. That'll be this next video, and we'll start typing it in, but I wanted to kind of give you an idea of here's our situation, and here's our flow chart to go with that situation. And so we're going to write the program based on this flow chart. And we're going to do some other things in there as well. Okay, I talked about percentage. Why did I work with percentage? Because the percentage can't be greater than 100 or shouldn't be greater than 100%. So we're going to want to make a statement that says, hey, your input for percent is bigger than 100. That's not going to work. You can't have that. We might also say your attitude has to be greater than 0. So if somebody inputs a value of less than 0, then we're going to say that's not possible, right? So bringing in, this is kind of like an error check, bringing in impossible data or impossible information needs to be addressed, and we'll do that in the program. All right, if you have any questions on this so far, leave them in the comments below. Thank you.